Let's talk manga anime characters. What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel, Illum Reads, or if you are new here, welcome to this very messy channel. My name is Will, and today I want to discuss with you guys my top favorite manga anime characters. Just want to quickly forewarn you that this video may contain some spoilers for some manga series or characters. And just for the sake of time, I'm only going to talk about just the basis of each character and why I love them. Only because if I truly go in depth as I want to, this video could well be over 2 hours. But other than that, let's just jump right on into this. Okay, so to start off, I absolutely have loved anime my entire life. I have watched anime since I was a little kid, and it wasn't until 2-3 years ago that I began to go out and start collecting some manga from my favorite series. And the reason that I began to do this was because I wanted to begin to read the true stories or the first adaptations of some of these series, because as many would know or possibly not know, anime does tend to change the direction behind the manga series and the creator stories. So growing up, the anime series that I had loved to watch would include Zatch Bell, Yu-Gi-Oh!, the very first series. I didn't really get into all of these spin-offs there. Pokemon, of course, and it's honestly surprising that it is still going on.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand.
XXX Holic, Black Butler, Ronin Warriors. Does anyone even remember this show? Or am I the only one?
Wait with me!
Inuyasha, Digimon, Bakugan, and this next anime only came to my memory because I remember my sister making me sit down and watch this anime that she was into at our computer one day. Mermaid Melody, Pitchy Pitchy Pitch. And as much as I love those animes, this is where we begin my top favorite characters. So to start off this list would have to be within the Naruto / Naruto Shippuden universe. And my favorite character within this universe would have to be Itachi Uchiha. Itachi Uchiha is the older brother of Sasuke Uchiha, and Itachi is responsible for killing his entire clan, leaving his brother Sasuke the only survivor. Itachi was known as a child prodigy ninja who would later go on in the series to be looked up to by other ninjas and who they aspired to be. For quite some time throughout the entire series, Itachi is shrouded in mystery and later on is hinted at as being an antagonist. Little by little, as Itachi's motives are slowly revealed, readers and watchers slowly learn that the sole purpose was out of an aspiration for peace. And Itachi would claim or go after peace at any cost. At first, not truly understanding the motives behind his brother's mass genocide of their clan, Sasuke would later on go to grow up and have a personal vendetta against his brother. However, this was all a part of Itachi's plan as well. What I love about Itachi is that he was very quiet and very insightful. He kept himself closed off so that he could properly understand others and his enemies. He was a pacifist, and he constantly thought about his clan's future. What I absolutely love about Itachi's character arc is that it was so in-depth, and his arc honestly carried much of the storyline behind Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. What really got to me the most was because on a personal level, I believe that Itachi was probably one of the characters that suffered the most. We all know, if you have read or seen the anime of Naruto, that many of those characters go through many deep and impactful things and situations. However, to me, it's like Itachi suffered quietly. I remember watching the reveal behind Itachi's mass murder / genocide of his entire clan. And there is one other character who knew about it. I'm not going to touch on that subject right now, but in a way, he was kind of the sole actor behind that. this man took every single life of his entire clan except for his brother. That could not in any way, shape, or form have been easy. And he carried that with him while carrying out other missions that were assigned to him throughout the rest of the entire series. Like his entire character arc really does break my heart. And yeah, he's just honestly my favorite character throughout the entire series. Next, we're going to head over to the Yu Yu Hakusho series, and my favorite character within this series would have to be Kurama. Kurama is a character who is sort of combined with two personalities. The first being Ryoko Kurama, who is a silver-haired demon fox who for quite a while is being chased for a theft gone wrong. During his flight, he implanted his soul into an infant, and that infant would be Shuichi Minamono. I think I pronounced that right. And Kurama at first only planned on residing in this infant baby until he could regain his strength. However, during the course of Shuichi's growth as a little boy, Kurama begins to learn about empathy and love for his human mother. In battle, Kurama is very perceptive and analytical. He is known to look past his feelings to analyze the real situation at hand. His love for his family and his friends are probably his greatest strength and greatest weakness. Kurama is somewhat of a complicated character. Dealing with two different personalities obviously just can't be easy. However, that's what I absolutely love about it. It's sort of like this yin/yang situation, to me anyway, because you do have the human side of Shuichi, who is very loving, very passive, and then you do have Kurama, the demon fox, who is very analytical as well, but he is absolutely willing to kill off whoever gets in his way at times. I love that sort of like battle between those type of wills, and yeah, this is probably the main reason as to why I absolutely love Kurama. Moving right along, we are going to talk about a character within the world of Tenchi Muyo, and that character would have to be Ryoko. Ryoko is a semi-reformed space pirate who is a constant competitor vying for the attention of Tenchi. The other competitor would have to be Princess Ayaka. Ryoko is a binary clone made and created from the DNA of the character Washu, who just happens to be the greatest scientific mind within the universe, as well as from the DNA from a very powerful sea creature known as the Masu. Due to her astronomical crimes of destroying 28 planets and 69 colonies and nearly decimating the Jirai Empire where Princess Ayaka is from. Due to being in search of Princess Tsunami's powers, Ryoko fled, and while being chased by the Crown Prince of Jirai, they both landed on Earth, and the Crown Prince imprisoned her within a cave, which would soon be where Tenchi Masaki would later reside. Over the course of 7 centuries, Tenchi would later awaken Ryoko, and due to her imprisonment, as well as solely being used as a weapon of destruction, Ryoko has no type of sense as to what social acceptance is. Ryoko has no problems with being sexually provocative or displaying her temper when being challenged or criticized. However, she can sort of tip over to the other end of the spectrum and display her fears and sadness when someone speaks about her age or someone who she dearly loves is in danger. So on a surface level, I kind of just fell in love with Ryoko just because of like her sense of humor. She really just doesn't give a crap about whatever most of the time. She's willing to fight anybody or anything who stands in her way. She is one of those fierce female characters within like the manga realm, and I absolutely adore that about her. Okay, so Dragon Ball Z, I don't necessarily have a favorite character. There were so many continuities, just like there were with Tenchi Muyo, but there really wasn't a character growing up that I could really resonate or feel close to. And that's really weird because for the majority of the time, I honestly just liked Dragon Ball Z for like the action sequences. I thought that these fierce warriors from this other planet or universe, they were from planet Vegeta, named after the Prince Vegeta, or the prince was named after the planet. I don't really remember the entire story. As I said, there were many continuities, and I think that bits and pieces of the story began to like change. Yeah, we're just not gonna go into that right now. Like, I don't want to just pick a character and say that it was Goku just because he was very dim-witted and because of like his strength and that just his willingness to overcome the impossible. I don't know. If I did have to pick one right now, I think it would have to be the character Whis, I believe his name was, in Dragon Ball Super. I began watching Dragon Ball Super way back in 2017. I didn't finish everything because just like Naruto, that show drags everything out all the time. And there's just only so much that I can take. But if I had to pick a character, it would most likely be Whis. Cardcaptor Sakura, one of my favorite animes growing up, and my favorite character within this universe would have to be Yue. I absolutely love Yue and his dark attitude. Yue was created by the very powerful magician Cloud Reed, and he is one of the protectors of the Cloud Cards. Whereas the character Kyroberos acts as the selector of the next card captor master, Yue acts as the judge to see if Kyroberos' selector is worthy of being that master. Right off the bat, Yue acts very cold and distant to basically everyone around him. However, underneath that very icy exterior, he still retains a very kind heart. Way back in the day when Cloudbeard was still around, Yue and Cloudbeard shared a very special bond and relationship. And because of that bond, it made it very hard for Yue to accept Sakura as the new Cloud Card Master. Sort of like Kurama and Yu Yu Hakusho, Yue shares a body or a personality with the character Yukito, who so happens to be a crush in the very beginning to Sakura. Half of the Cloud Cards were at first, and maybe still are later on in the series. That part is never really truly explained, but half of those cards are under Yue's protection. It is later explained in a different series, but which is set in the same universe, sort of. I'll get to that later. But it is explained how much Cloudbeard did cherish Kyroberos and Yue. However, he ended up having to abandon them due to, at first, unclear reasoning, but later on, if you read or watch the anime, you do find out. As I said in the beginning, I love Yue just because of how distant he is, but how much after a while he warms up to Sakura being his new master. One, because Sakura kind of just doesn't give him a choice. Not in a bad way, but she's very adamant on becoming his friend and just loving him. I love seeing that icy exterior sort of like just melt away off of him throughout the time. He's very quiet, he's very analytical, and he goes to the utmost length to protect those around him that he does cherish. But going forward and talking about that other dimension / universe, which is sort of set within like this multiverse, this series is so confusing, is the Tsubasa world. I really don't know how to pronounce a lot of these words, and I'm so sorry. But within this different continuity of the Clamp series, Cardcaptor Sakura, Tsubasa, and there's a third series called XXX Holic, which are all kind of set within the same multiverse. And so these characters sort of like go between dimensions and they sort of meet each other, and they are sort of the same person with different personalities. Oh my god. gosh. But anyway, within the Tsubasa realm, my favorite character would have to be Fi. Fi is first seen sealing away who would later be known as King Ashura at the bottom of a pool. I believe it's within King Ashura's palace, charging one of his creations to alert him should King Ashura awaken. Fi then flees to the dimensional witch, Ryoko, seeking to run and never return to his own country. However, the price for this wish is too great, so he travels through the different dimensions with the different Sakura and Sharon. Like I said, it gets complicated. Along on this adventure is Kurogane, which later on Fi would end up having a deep and impactful relationship with. Fi carries the title D within his name, which is proof of just how powerful of a magician he really is. What I love is that on the outside, Fi acts very carefree and cheerful, but on the inside, he is very emotionally distant. He carries a very heavy burden, which isn't revealed until later on in the series. He cares very little about his own life. Even when in a fight, he doesn't do his very best to survive. And the only one to really sense Fi's unhappiness is Kurogane, who later on in the series does confront him about it and tries to get Fi to change his disposition. What I really love about Fi, and this is going to sound very emo, is his emotional distance. There's just something about those characters that sort of like suffer in silence and carry these heavy burdens that I am drawn to. I am finding out. Over the course of the entire series, we do learn what Fi was truly running from and why he did seal away King Ashura. There is like this big impactful fight which causes a great sacrifice to Fi and to his friends Sakura, Kurogane, and Sharon. It honestly gets really dark, which is honestly why they stopped creating the anime for Tsubasa. What I love about Fi is that he's willing to sacrifice his vows of not using his magic when it comes to the danger of his loved ones. Okay, so this last anime slash manga, I'm pretty much, you already could possibly guess because I've talked about this manga several times now on this channel, and that would have to be Sailor Moon Usagi Tsukino. Usagi Tsukino is the reincarnated princess of the moon, Princess Serenity. Her name literally means rabbit on the moon. What I absolutely love about Sailor Moon is how cheerful yet emotional she can be. Growing up, I always saw bits and pieces of her in myself because we both hated school. We both loved snacks. We were both very lazy, but we also both held that hopeful demeanor and just honestly wanted to just make friends. All of a sudden, it's therapy session. Usagi Tsukino is very kind with a pure heart, and she is very well known at seeing good in others, especially in her enemies where others do not. She can be jealous when it comes to her soulmate, Mamoru Chiba. However, after the downfall of the Silver Millennium, Usagi does live a pretty average suburban life, up until the point that she meets her advisor slash familiar, Luna, and Luna calls her back into battle. Luna charges Usagi with fighting the reawakened Dark Kingdom once again to finally seal them off forever. Throughout the first entire arc, Sailor Moon is charged with finding her companions once again and discovering their long-lost princess, who so happens to be Usagi. Sailor Moon does indeed endure her share of hardships. I can honestly talk about this entire series for a whole nother 2 hours, but to properly understand why everyone within the Sailor Moon universe is after Usagi and her silver crystal, because they do explain it within the 5th arc of the manga series, I understand exactly why everyone wants to be close to her, because of her pure heart and her sincerity to love others and her gift of seeing the light in everyone. I think that's honestly what makes her such a beloved character. It is because everyone sort of wants like that type of light that Usagi exudes. Oh, fun fact, the creator of Sailor Moon, Naoko Takeuchi, and the creator of Yu Yu Hakusho, Yoshihiro Togashi, are married in real life. I found that really awesome. But anyway, that is all that I have for this video, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. If you did absolutely like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please also hit that subscribe button so that you will know when I upload the next time. I had a lot of fun talking about my favorite manga characters. What are some of yours? Let me know down in the comments. Until then, I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye!